So we are going to have a very interesting session in the next half an hour to 40 minutes. First, Commissioner Oettinger, who, as you know, has been a Commissioner for Energy before this, and is now in his role leading what I would think for us is the most important initiative for Europe effectively, the digital single market, along with Vice President Ansip. He's going to give us a keynote talking about the digital single market and innovation. And then Ben Rooney and the Commissioner will have a fireside chat on stage and discuss a little bit about how this thing actually works. With that, I'm going to go off stage and invite for the keynote Commissioner Oettinger. Thank you.
Dear Mr. Chatterjee, dear Mr. Rooney, dear young innovators, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I wish you a good time here in Brussels with interesting colleagues, networking with your generation, and getting some input and giving some input between policymakers, between ambassadors, between industrialists and you as a young, innovative generation, young people being near to our vision, creating a European digital union. Our European Union, 4 fundaments that we have. The first one, we are a union of peace. This was at the beginning, it was the most important common understanding, and it's an ongoing important fundament for us. Second, we are a union of values. Third point, we are a union with a common currency. 19 of our 28 member states have the euro. The Greek have it as well. Let's wait and see. And fourth point, we have a single market without borders, an open market for products, for goods, for services, from Lisbon to Vilnius, from Dublin to Athens. It's a functioning single market, 510 million people, consumers, investors, prosumers, users, Switzerland, Norway, the West Balkan states, more or less associated. But we have no functioning digital single market. Digital products, digital services, hardware, software, platforms, search machines, applications, telecommunication services. More or less, we are living in a fragmented digital world with national borders, fragmented silos, and now to realize and to complete our digital single market, as we have a functioning and completed single market for cars, for trucks, for agricultural products, for food, for wine and beer, for financial products, financial services, for banking services, for insurance services, is our ambition. And therefore the Commission developed the communication beginning of May with clear projects and clear points we want to realize for to come to a functioning digital single market. We are living in a digital revolution, and there are clear strategies. The US, they have a clear strategy. Their strategy is to be in lead in this digital technological revolution, have global leaders being dominant, looking to search machines, looking to platforms, looking to standards, and coming from the digital sector, going to the real industry, being in lead for to produce cars or trucks or mobility services, having more knowledge using data, big data, cloud computing, being in lead, looking to the Internet of Things. That's the American strategy, and at the moment they are winning the game. And we are convinced, if there is not a European strategy, if we are competing as 28 fragmented member states, France, Germany, Estonia, Portugal, Italy, everybody stand alone, we have no chance. Let me give a few examples. At the moment we have 28 different data protection regulations. A startup starting in Stockholm or London, Oxford, or in Berlin, delivering digital services, he has to check 28 data protection rules. He has to ask 28 lawyers to avoid any activity, any service being not acceptable for Portugal or Spain or Germany. Our general data protection regulation, a European-wide regulation, can be less bureaucratic, can be a clear legal framework, one data protection rule for the whole European Union. Or take infrastructure. Digital infrastructure is key. Broadband, satellites, and so on. We need a cross-border strategy because our economic regions are beyond national borders. Take Brussels, Liège, Aachen, Cologne, Maastricht, Rotterdam. It's one region, 3 or with Luxembourg 4 member states. So to have 4 separate strategies for the investment broadband is not really convincing, because communication, digital communication, is a European, is a continental, and not just a national technology and service. Or take research projects. In our Horizon 2020, we have more and more European projects moderated, organized, co-funded by our European Union. We are leveraging and co-financing research projects for platforms, for digital platforms of the next generation. Because Google is 14 years old. A startup from today can be a hidden champion or a global leader in 2025 up to 2030. This has to be our ambition as a European research team and not in 28 fragmented silos. Or take copyright. For the moment, we have no modern digital European copyright. Now we are preparing our Commission's proposal, because if there is no European copyright, we have no digital authority. We need more European digital authority. We need more digital sovereignty. And next point, skills. You are digital natives. Me, I'm not. The majority of our workers, of our employees, of our CEOs, of our members in parliaments are not digital native. So skills is key. For to come back, everybody needs a level of digital competence for to survive in the labor markets of tomorrow. We need more IT specialists. Our analysis is saying in our European Union labor market, year by year, We need 160,000 IT specialists on top, year by year. We have not enough offers, not enough places in our universities. We need a clear agreement with member states. We have to invest in more and better IT offers in our universities. We have to do a lot, but the more we are working together, the more we are realizing our digital single market, the more we are speaking about our vision to come to a digital union, the better. And then we are competitive. Then we are back in a fair competition with the US, with South Korea, with more and more China, with Japan. And that is our idea. And let's work together. It's your vision. The digital union will be your union in 2020 and beyond. And so we need the creativity from our young generation, and we need a good relationship and partnership between policymakers in the European Parliament, in the Council and in the Commission, and you as the startups of tomorrow and as the CEO of 2030 and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner, for an excellent keynote that gave us some hope that there is a potential for a digital single market across Europe and not one fragmented by member states. We were doing the Youth Innovation Week across Europe this last 5 days, and we went to at least 5 cities in different countries, and we saw how this was still very much work to do. But now I'm going to hand over to Ben Rooney. And I don't think there's anybody here who does not know who Ben Rooney is. I personally have been following him since 1991, since he was at Daily Telegraph, and even before he became the tech editor at the Wall Street Journal. And now he has his own tech blog, which has also been featured on the Wall Street Journal. But it'll be great to see Ben now talk to Commissioner Oettinger in a very typically fireside chat that young innovators are accustomed to. So over to the two of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Commissioner, thank you very much indeed for coming. Thank you for laying out your vision of the future. What I'm slightly worried by in this vision that you're painting is we've been here before in 2000 at the Lisbon conference. There was a promise made that within 10 years Europe would be a digital leader. In the previous commission was originally going to introduce the single digital market in 2014. Then it was pushed to 2015. 4 times the Council of Ministers backed the single digital market to no effect. You're now promising to deliver this in 2016, or promising to deliver something in 2016. The reality is the Commission has missed more deadlines than a Greek finance minister. What makes you think you can deliver this time when everybody else has failed?
Sorry, it's not the Commission, it's the Council.
Well, the whole Brussels.
No, there are clear differences. We are in a democracy. We are the management board of the European Union, maybe the government. But for legislation, you need the Parliament and you need the Council. And so it's Council blocking what is our problem. But I have some hope. In last 1 or 2 years, we got more and more support from more and more member states. They are seeing that Google, Apple, Facebook, Amazon, and others, Alibaba, are so dominant that we have to act for coming back into this global economy, into this global game. And yesterday, just an example, our Telecom Single Market Directive coming from 2013, we had nearly no progress in 2014. Monday night or Tuesday morning, we realized a breakthrough, coming to decisions looking to roaming and to net neutrality. Or another example, Vivian Redding, my former colleague, developed our general data protection regulation. It was a decision of the Commission in January 2012. Afterwards, we sent it to the Council and the Parliament. Nothing happened. The Council blocking. Now we have some movement. Since 3 weeks, there's a mandate, there's a position of the Council, and the Luxembourg presidency, starting today, now has a mandate to negotiate with the Parliament. I'm quite optimistic that before end of this year, we'll have a new European-wide data protection regulation.
But the reality is that the politics of Europe has changed quite dramatically. We see, for example, in France, the growth of the Front National. In your own country, in Germany, you have the Alternative for Deutschland. We have UKIP in the United Kingdom. We have the Danish People's Party. We have the Swedish Democrats. We've got that chap with the really bad hair. I've forgotten his name. I can't remember his name. Anyway, the point is that what you're seeing in Europe is a growth in a resurgence of European of national identity against a European identity. And at exactly the time we are seeing these moves, here comes the European Union, here comes Brussels, in quotes, trying to deliver some enormous, complicated plan that is going to be taking away national sovereignty. You're talking about parcel delivery, you're talking about radio spectrum frequency allocation. Do you think that this is the time to be doing this? Do you think that when we see, at a time when Europe is pulling away from, the individual countries in Europe are pulling away from these grand European schemes, you're trying to launch one?
Let me say, our citizens may be living at a border, national border, or take anybody driving by car from Brussels to Luxembourg to Strasbourg and afterwards Stuttgart. Is it really an advantage to have no contact via mobile phone at every border? No, it's a disadvantage. So it's not about national sovereignty to have no mobile phone contact at any border. And take 5G. At the moment we have 3G for mobile phone and 4G, LTE technology. 5G is coming in 2020. 5G is not functioning without Europeanized, coordinated spectrum.
But you talk about...
And so I'm sure that Mr. Wilders or anybody from Finland or anybody from France being in Le Pen has no argument, not at all, against our vision to say that we need a better digital contact all over Europe, or take roaming, flying from Brussels to Spain, having holidays, paying much more at the moment. In 2 years' time, it's the same fee you have to pay. So I think we have best arguments. We have not to Europeanize all policies, but digital policies have to be Europeanized for to win this game and for to realize these advantages for our citizens.
But there's only a requirement. You only require a regulator or some legal framework to enter if there is a clear market failure. So you talk about 3G. Now, Europe led the world on 3G, but we did that amongst sovereign nations. There was no requirement when we've introduced common standards. I mean, the internet itself is a common international standard that was a bottom-up requirement, that grew from a bottom-up function, things like the ITEF and various other task forces. It doesn't require a top-down, this is how you will do it approach. And I'm interested in the politics of this, how you think that despite all of these changes, you'll still think that you can lay down a strategy that is going to be adopted across Europe because Brussels says so.
3G, 4G, 5G. At the moment we are lagging behind. And it's not the Commission. It was Vodafone, it was Orange, it was Telefonica, it was Deutsche Telekom who asked us to coordinate a European consortium. From our European budget, I can spend 700 million euro, and our industries, I mentioned 4 of them, they are investing 3.5 billion. And now we have a European consortium, and now we are coming forward. And my ambition is to be ready in 2020, together or before South Korea will be ready. So it's not the Commission, it's not a Brussels bureaucrat, it's our industry located in London, in Paris, in Madrid, in Bonn, and it's a clear advantage for all European players. Research projects, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Malta, Cyprus, Portugal, they are not big enough. They have not enough money to invest in research projects. As a European team, we have it. And let me say, coming back to our Telecom Single Market Directive, we have been ready yesterday. Prime Minister Cameron tweeted, wonderful, great. Cameron, tweeted, great, a clear success for our European citizens. It was him yesterday morning.
Whatever Cameron says. Let's look at a little detail of the initiative, because you've produced these 16 not pillars. You have 3 pillars and then 16 categories. And I was looking at exactly what these things are, and I'm not quite clear what exactly you're promising to deliver by 2016, because when I read the text of the 16, the first 8 are promises to deliver proposals. So you're not actually promising to deliver, and you're promising to deliver a proposal to deliver something. And then of the other 8, I made notes. 9 is you're going to present a plan. 10, you're going to review something. 11 is an analysis. 13 and 14 are more proposals, and then my favorite one was number 15. When you said this thing was a priority, in number 15, you're going to define the priorities. So it's a priority to define more priorities. In 2016, when you deliver your digital single market to the entrepreneurs out there, what difference is their life going to be in 2016? What impact will you have actually made?
We have a clear Commission's working program. Our work is more transparent than the activity of any government. And I will bring a Commission's proposal looking to copyright before end of this year. It's a proposal. It's a legal proposal. Because it's a legislation. So at the end of the day, we are proposing, we are fighting therefore, but it's a decision between Parliament and Council.
Right.
If they are willing, we can be ready with a new, modernized European copyright before end of 2016. Same.
But you're going to deliver a proposal for a European copyright in 2016. You're not going to deliver a European copyright in 2016.
Yeah, sorry, I'm a Democrat, as you are as well. Legislation is not up to us. We are proposing.
Right. So the reality is in 2016, for these people out here, when you deliver your plan, it's not going to make any difference at all.
No.
It's a plan to make plans.
No. I was quite clear. I said before end of this year, my proposal.
Deliver a plan.
No, a proposal. Before end of this year, we have a Commission's proposal, and if Parliament and Council are willing, we can be ready to have a new modern European copyright before end of 2016.
Okay.
Same with our audiovisual media services directive. Or next point, take our analysis looking to OTTs. For startups, it's so important to know from our side legally what is with Google and what is with Facebook, what is going wrong. These new OTTs, are they playing in a level playing field, or is there unfair competition?
Okay. So right. So in other words, by 2060, when you deliver these proposals, the reality is nothing's going to. I mean, there are proposals to make proposals to change things, but there's not going to be any change, not any meaningful change for these people. I want to pick up. We have the last few minutes. I want to pick up on a comment you made in a speech that you gave in Hanover this year, the Hanover Fair, the Hanover Messe, and you said the next generation of digital platforms will replace today's web search engines, operating systems, and social networks. That, if I'm sitting in America, sounds awfully like a threat to me. And in response, as I'm sure you know, President Obama was very critical of the European Union's actions against US companies, and he said that oftentimes what is portrayed as high-minded positions on issues sometimes is just designed to carve out some of their commercial interests. So is this activity by the European Union, this veiled threat you made against Facebook, Apple, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, is this simply protectionism dressed up in another language? I'm struck by the fact that the European Union has taken all of these investigations against US companies. The US federal authorities has not instigated a single investigation against any European digital company. So why this imbalance?
It's interesting. Normally, the US are not so an blueprint for us. So many Europeans are saying, oh, these Americans having war in Iraq and so on, and TTIP and so on. But now Obama is a king of the digital world. No, save a strategy. 30 Google people are working in the White House. It's a clear strategy to dominate the digital sector and afterwards to dominate the whole industry, producing mobility systems, maybe producing cars. And Google is accepted, but they have to accept our rules, our European rules.
So this is protectionism.
And no, there are concerns. Many journalists in newspapers are saying to us, it's not okay what Google and Facebook is doing. And we have to check the situation, we have to analyze, cause the Springer Verlag in Hamburg, and cause Murdoch, and cause others, and cause newspapers, associations are asking us, please check, because discrimination on platforms is not our culture. And we have to check this. And it's an open process. We have to be objective. But it's not protectionism. It's just our function as an independent court to check, goes anything wrong in our digital world? Does Google play an unfair game? Yes or no? Let's wait and see. We are ready before end of this year.
All right, but my last point, I mean, and because I'm getting signs from over there, famously, of course, the European Union went to war with, took Microsoft to court, won 2 billion, I believe it was a 2 billion euro fine, I forget the exact figure. And that was a fantastic victory over the browser war. We really nailed it to Microsoft on that one. You can't have your Internet Explorer 6 anymore. The reality of these things is that by the time we fought these battles, by the time we've waded our way through, the thing has moved on. Everything has moved on. This, as they say, I come back to this point. So you refute, despite the fact you're making allegations or you're claiming that there are 30 people from Google working in the White House, that the European Union's actions against US companies is not a form of protectionism, and that previous statement that you made about the 30 people was just coincidental?
The Google case is a quite prominent case indeed, but we have hundreds of cases. And our competition rules are not against anybody. They are relevant for everybody who is active in our European markets. European players, companies from Munich, from Rotterdam, from London, from Warsaw, but from Silicon Valley as well. Another prominent case is a Gazprom case. It's not against Russia. It's against unfair competition in the gas market. So we are an independent court looking to the markets, looking is there anything wrong in our internal markets, and it's not against the US or against Russia, it's not against Google or Gazprom, it's in the interest of our European citizens, our European economy, and what we want is a fair competition in a level playing field.
Commissioner, unfortunately, we have to wind it up there. Thank you very much indeed for your very full and your very frank replies to the question. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Commissioner Oettinger.